With The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom now finally fully upon us, here are 5 things that I like more about Tears of the Kingdom than I did Breath of the Wild. Let's go. One thing I like better about Tears of the Kingdom than Breath of the Wild is the shrines, which this might not come as a surprise to many of you, but the shrines in Tears of the Kingdom are just way better. Not only do they look cooler from the outside and inside, they're also way more fun and challenging. One thing that I haven't heard brought up a lot about the shrines in Tears of the Kingdom is how much they get you to learn about the game's mechanics. There's no certain way to beat every single shrine, and the game clearly wants you to learn the new mechanics, build systems, and whatever is new in Tears of the Kingdom. As I'm completing shrines, I don't feel like it's an obligation, I feel like it's an opportunity for me to learn more about the game, and every time I come out of a shrine in Tears of the Kingdom, I feel like I'm all the better player for it. And while there are more total shrines in Tears of the Kingdom, it seems like each individual shrine is definitely more important than each individual shrine it felt like in Breath of the Wild. While there are some of those useless ones in Breath of the Wild that say something's blessing, where you just walk in and grab a chest, it feels like every single shrine in this game wants you to improve and makes you a better player just for playing the shrine, no matter how small or long the shrine is. Also, in Tears of the Kingdom, the shrines incentivize you to explore. The shrines are placed strategically throughout the world of Tears of the Kingdom, and they guide you to new areas and encourage exploration. In no part of this game did I find a shrine where there was just nothing else next to it. At least not something worth discovering. Even something as little as a Korok seed, every single shrine in Tears of the Kingdom is placed so strategically well that it makes you feel like you're doing something really special, no matter how insignificant the shrine itself. The next thing I have to say is definitely the abilities in Tears of the Kingdom. The abilities in Breath of the Wild were super fun and super useful, but the abilities in Tears of the Kingdom create more options for creativity and different ways to beat challenges, puzzles, and ultimately the entire game. Also, it comes with some really weird and concerning creations that people have been able to make, but also different ways that people have been able to beat the game, and sometimes it feels like you can cheat the game and be in places you're not supposed to be because of the incredible amount of things you can do with the abilities in Tears of the Kingdom. Next, I have to say that the dungeons, or as they're called in Tears of the Kingdom, the temples are way better. This is from a stream where I streamed the Wind Temple. By the way, I stream every day at twitch.tv/SavageSkull live, so go ahead, check it out. I'm sure you'll love it, and I'd love to have you. So anyway, I was streaming this, and I realized how much better they are. They're a lot less repetitive than those at the end of the dungeons, and every single puzzle makes you feel special after you completed it, unlike Breath of the Wild, where I kind of just looked up all of them and I was super underwhelmed by how I was supposed to do it. Unlike the ones in Tears of the Kingdom, where learning it makes you feel really special, and it's really rewarding to figure it out yourself as you go along the way because it's such a good design, and the temples are super fun, and each one is unique. Alright, the next thing I'm going to have to say goes kind of hand in hand with what we just talked about, but the next thing I enjoy way more than I did in Breath of the Wild in Tears of the Kingdom has got to be the bosses, especially the bosses at the end of dungeons. Again, this is from another stream, go check out the Twitch if you haven't already, but I really enjoyed this boss, and they're way more interesting than every single dungeon at the end of Breath of the Wild has the exact same boss. And it's super weird. It's either some Blight Ganon, whether it's Fire Blight Ganon, Water Blight Ganon, Wind Blight Ganon, or the very difficult Thunder Blight Ganon. The bosses at the end of the dungeons or temples in Tears of the Kingdom don't feel repetitive, and they're all different, and the designs are so much cooler, and they're all super fun to beat. You have to use different abilities that you get pretty much right before you beat it, and it's super cool. So the next thing I have to say that's better in Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild has got to be the bosses. And the last thing has to be the open world. Just the fact that there are so many levels to the open world in Tears of the Kingdom, unlike Breath of the Wild where it's just the main floor level, is I'm gonna call it. But in Tears of the Kingdom, there's the main floor, there's the sky, and there's the depths, and you can even go higher, in which case you can find some of the temples, like the Wind Temple. So it's insane how much they're able to not only build out the map that they use from Breath of the Wild, but in Tears of the Kingdom they're also able to build it up, which makes the map way bigger, way more fun to explore, and you're incentivized for unlocking the entire thing because there is not a single part of this map that isn't interesting in some way or that doesn't lead you to something interesting and something you need to get done. So that's why I have to say the last thing, and probably the best thing that they improved from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom has got to be the open world. So in a video I made a while ago, wondering and worrying about the fact that they weren't going to surpass it, they weren't going to do anything better, I have to say that Tears of the Kingdom definitely does a lot of the things that Breath of the Wild did, but a lot better. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm SavageSkull, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like Tears of the Kingdom more or Breath of the Wild more in the comments below. Go check out the Twitch. I try to stream every single day. Again, that's twitch.tv/SavageSkull live. So go check that out. And I also have a TikTok, which you can find the link in the description below. And as always, I will see you beautiful people on the flip side. Goodbye, everybody.